Alright, so let's begin inequalities. Now, inequalities stumps a lot of people, but hopefully you're going to see that really there's very little to them after you've understood algebra. So the first thing to let's first go over what I'm going to go over. So I'm going to go over what the 4 signs mean. Then after that, I'm going to show you the difference between what it means to have x equals 5, x less than 5. That's what this sign means. I'm going to go over that. Less than or equal to 5, greater than 5, greater than or equal to 5. And then finally, what does something like this mean, where you've got 2 inequalities joined together? Which, a lot of you might not know that, but you've got to be comfy understanding what that means as well. And then I think that's it. So you just need to kind of watch this if you're not comfy what any of these mean. If you are comfy, you can probably skip this and just go to the video where I say how to solve inequalities. Very, very easy if you know the rest of algebra. And I do mean very, very easy. That's alright, so let's first understand what these things mean. And to understand what these things mean, you've got to first be comfy kind of if I write this. Now, what a lot of people don't really grasp is they think a little bit too mathsy, and they think this is some special mathematical language. But all it's really saying is you literally read it like that. And I'll tell you how. You know how, I'm sure some of you guys text and you say lol. That's because both of you, when you're using lol to somebody else who knows what lols mean, you're like laughing out loud. So the reason you write lol is you can't be bothered to write this, well, to some extent, I guess. It's the same reason why some people write thanks like this. They can't be bothered to write it. It's like you know what that means. The other person knows what that means, so don't bother. Be right back. You do that. I even sometimes do that. BRB. That's it. It's just basic because I know what that means, the other guy knows it. Well, guess what? Whenever you read, this is just really like a mathematician's text speech. So literally, if you read this just means x. Yeah? This means plus, this means y, this means equals, or is equal to, or whatever, 5. Yeah? So that's literally all it means. So, so when you have these, all this is like your text speech for just another bit of language. So let's just tell you what each one of these means, and then after that I'll tell you how you can use it in an equation. So this one means less than. This one means less than or equal to. This one means greater than or more than. Greater than. And take a guess what you think this is. Yeah, this is greater than or equal to. So you literally kind of see really these two are exactly the same, but this has one extra little line. You know how this is equals? It's almost like they're trying to say, look, less than, that's what this one is. But if I make that, do you see how that kind of looks like equal? So they're like, yeah, less than, but also equal to. So that's it. That's all they mean. So now, let's kind of see what, a few things. So if I write x equals 5, that literally means x is equal to 5. So let's now also think number lines. So, if you had a number line like this, then basically if we're kind of trying to jot where x would be on this, x would just be here. Do you see that? That's the only place it is. And by the way, if you want to kind of show that, look, it's included just at one point, at that particular point, you actually do a colored in circle. Not that they'll ever ask you to draw x equals something on a number line, but here's what it is. So I don't want you to think of that. I just want to think, look, imagine that circle there. Alright, so get rid of that. Yeah. So that's x equals 5. So now let's look at the next one. So if I do that. So what this is saying is literally saying x is less than 5. So, don't think about this stuff too mathsy. It's just saying that, look, this number is less than 5. So, again, on this number, if we draw another number line, show a little bit more space, there we go. Then, here's the deal. Can you see it's basically saying, look, it can be 4. I'm going to do it in red. It could be 4, it could be 3, it could be 2, it could be 1, it could be everything. Remember, numbers don't just go from 4 to 3. So it can actually be anything along here. Can you see? And that would go on forever. That's how you show it. But here's the deal, it's less than 5. So it can also be anything between 4 and 5, but not 5. And the way you show that on a number line is by, you do a circle over 5, but you don't colour it. And by not colouring it, what you've done there is you're just saying, alright, I'm trying to make it clear to you that everything just below 5 is fine, but the 5 itself, I'm not, I don't want that. Does that make sense? I'm just moving these here to make a bit more room for myself. Right, so here's the next one. X less than or equal to 5. Yeah, so that is less than or equal to 5. Do you see, it's just me literally reading, like if someone's sending text. This is like almost like the geeky maths texting, which has been around for years and years. So look, all this means, again, if you've got a number line, let's make that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, here's what this one's saying. It's exactly the same as this, because x is first less than 5. So everything less than 5 is counted. Okay? So everything down there. But here's the only difference. But it says or equal to. Whereas this one was just less than 5. This one has or equal to. So here's how you show that. So you actually colour in the 5. So this one's saying that, look, 5 is included, and then the line tells you so is everything below. So the only difference between less than 5 and less than equal to 5 is that in this one, you actually count the 5. In this one, you don't count the 5. In the same way, if someone said, oh mate, make sure you give me, I don't know, really crappy. Okay, I need less than 5 eggs. You don't give him 5. You know, if he said, I need less than 5 eggs. Yeah, does that make sense? I wish I had a better example, but that's all I have. Wait, I can think of a good one. Alright, so someone says to you, look, I want a house with less than 3 rooms. If you then go and show him a house with 3 rooms, he'll just be like, but I told you, less than 3. Why have you shown me one with 3? Whereas if he says, oh, less than or equal to 3 rooms, well then you'd show him ones with 3 as well, because he said or equal to. That's all it is. X is just going to be something, it's going to be a number. So that's all that's going on. Now, I hope by this point you're kind of starting to get the hang. So x is greater than 5, so let's draw another number line. Right, so here's the deal. Now think about, oh yeah, let me write this. X is greater than 5. So what that's saying is everything which is bigger than 5, counting. So okay, and all this little arrow here means is saying, like, obviously the line goes on forever, I'm including everything. But now here's the deal. You've got to decide if the circle is going to be hollow or we're going to colour it in. And here's the thing, look, if someone tells you x is greater than 5, do you include 5? So for example, someone tells you, look, I want more than 5 eggs. Now if you bring that person 5 eggs, so look, I said more than 5, I didn't say 5. So for this one, don't colour it in. But if I then literally just do this, x is greater than or equal to 5, then hopefully you understand that it's going to be the exact same thing here, except because it's all equal to, I will also colour it in. Yeah? So that's all inequalities are. Whereas, most of the, you're going to see, obviously, when I do it in the video, they're going to give you an equation, and what's it going to say? There's not just going to be one answer, there's going to be loads of answers. Do you see on this one? There's just 1 point. On these, there's loads. So, just for this time being, understand what all of this means. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now, we need to still kind of talk about when you see that last kind of thing. This. So this isn't much harder. Again, all the kind of difficulty is if you understand what it means. Once you understand what it means, it's reasonably straightforward. So, alright, so this is what it means. When you see something like this is actually two inequalities joined together. And the first inequality finishes where x finishes, so it looks like this. The other one, I'm going to need a little rub. The other one is this one. It starts like that. So can you see it's like two inequalities joined together. So now look, you've got this one straightforward. So it's saying x is less than or equal to 6. So let's draw a number line. Make that 0. 1, 2. By the way, don't always remember as well the number line. I know in the last ones it started from 0, but it goes on forever. This side and this side. So okay, so let's think of. I'll tell you what. We'll think about what this means because you've been used to seeing x on the other side. So x is less than or equal to 6. So look, can you guys see that obviously everything below 6 is included, but also because it's all equal to 3. That's included. So now this one, let's just kind of make sense. Remember, this is just text speech. So this means like 3 is less than x. So 3 is less than x. So think about this. Could x be 5? So think about this. Would this make sense? 3 is less than 5. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because 3 is less than 5. So we do know on the other one that 5 is definitely going to be included in this one. Let me show you why, for example, 2 isn't. Because if I replace x equals 2 into this sentence, by the way, that's what I did for 5, it would say 3 is less than 2. No, that's nonsense. So we know that's not going to be there. So here's a better way of kind of dealing with these. If you ever kind of see something like that, here's literally what I recommend. Imagine there was like a mirror line here, yeah? It's exactly the same if you literally flipped everything like that. That's what that is equal to. So really, it's just like you keep, that now becomes the first thing, the what was first becomes the last thing, and you flip that sign. Right? So if you had 4 less than equal to x, that means exactly the same as x is greater than 4. Right, just remember that. So anyway, but we're not dealing with that one. So this one is just x greater than 3. So again, can you see, but here's it, so 3 isn't going to be included, but everything above it is. That should have been included. Okay, so do you see, this thing, remember, we're dealing with this thing, splits into two inequalities. And now, all the possible x's for this are just this like little place is all of these bits which overlap. Can you see? So that's what it is. It's this lovely little overlap, and the way you kind of do it is like this. So 3 is not included, but 6 is. So that's how you show that on a number line. See how that's very clear? So 3, nope, 6, yep, that's included, and then everything in between those is included. So that's what it is. So hopefully you understand what the signs mean. Hopefully you get what each one of these means, and you especially see the difference that basically these are the same, except this one also includes 5. These two are the same, but this one includes 5, and you know what that looks like on the number line. And then finally, if they give you something like this, you understand that it's 2 inequalities just kind of like almost like joined together at the x. Can you see if I move that over to here? That's literally what it is. It's just joined up to the x like that. That's it. That's literally it. And then hopefully you get how to draw that on the number line. It's the part of the number line which is covered for both of those. You know what? Then you might have got a question which gives you this and asks you list all the integers which are satisfied by what you've been given. So all that means, it's the one word you've got to keep knowing through the whole of this is integers. Integers just means whole numbers. So all it's saying, list all the whole numbers which go into this one. So let's have a think about this. Now we know anything below that is included and everything above that is included. So look, 3 isn't included, so don't include that. 4 is, 5 is, and 6 is, because remember the colored. So the answer to this will be 4, 5, 6. Alright, so that's the, I guess almost like the introduction to inequalities done. Yeah, and then look, there's like literally, if you get this stuff, then solving inequality is really, really simple. I'm going to give you the one rule. I don't know how many people keep getting confused with inequalities. You're going to be wowed about how easy it is if you don't get it right now. So I'll see you in the next video.